listening to the Coffee Hour. I'm Andy Bates.
I'm Sarah Golseth.
It is Tuesday, October 22nd.
It's a little chilly out there.
It's a brisk fall morning here in St. Louis. To two good topics, some seasonal stuff today as well, because you know what season is coming up very soon. We're winding down the church year here.
It's almost Advent.
It is. We're winding down the church year in just a little over a month.
I know, it's so soon.
So what, Reformation being observed most places this weekend, coming up on the 31st, special festival service here at Chapel on Reformation, and then Advent right around the corner after the end of the church year. Depending on what do you all celebrate as the end of the church year at your church? Is it Christ the King Sunday? Last Sunday? Okay. Well, some it's Christ the King Sunday. Some
That's
it's
true.
Yeah, it depends.
I should pay attention to that this year so I can actually answer.
And we get to take a look at some liturgical art with our favorite liturgical artist today, Kelly Schumacher, in studio. Excited to visit with her and take a look at Advent with Professor Thompson from Concordia Seminary here in St. Louis, helping us prepare for Advent. Thanks to Concordia University, Wisconsin for supporting the Coffee Hour. Find out more about Concordia University, Wisconsin at cuw.edu.
Live uncommon. Throwing things at me.
I'm not throwing things. I meant to point to you for your cue, and then I just passed the talking stick. But that's actually very appropriate because you get to introduce our guest today.
Oh, okay. Kelly Schumacher's in studio with us.
Hello, good morning.
It was really smooth.
It was. I was impressed.
We do radio professionally. It's fine. So we talked about I don't know, a while ago when you were here last, maybe about your trip to the Dominican Republic. But you brought us artwork from this trip, and I'll try to, while we're talking, I'll try to actually get some pictures of this on our Instagram so people actually can see what we're talking about. Andy's holding it up, but
you can't see
Radio
it.
Land can't see that. So
not yet. Cameras are coming soon.
Kelly, tell us about your trip to the Dominican and why you went.
Sure. Well, I've wanted to do, the whole point of Agnus Dei Liturgical Arts was kind of a twofold mission that I had in my mind, is that it would minister and teach people that are inside the church, but it was also meant to evangelize to people outside the church. And I'm attending a little lay Institute of Theology class right now, just a few sessions, and the teacher brought up the fact that art is just a wonderful way to communicate the gospel to a biblically illiterate culture. So the neat thing is I had wanted to do art as missions for about, maybe 10 years or so. And I was called, this was the neat thing, is I didn't arrange this, someone that I had met, Cheryl Nauman, I think we went on a Luther Tours trip. She asked me to come out to the Dominican Republic, and they commissioned me to do a painting for their Mercy Center. And I thought the theme of Jesus with children would be a great thing for their Mercy Center and school, because there's so many children that are there and that are coming in and coming out. And we are all like little children before Christ in our baptism. So
tell us about the picture, and there's a word for this that I never can pronounce correctly.
Giclee. It's French.
I should know this. I studied French.
I did not. Giclee. No, it's not a jickle or something.
Not giclee.
I don't what is it, like Jigglypuff? Like Jigglypuff? No, don't do that. So Giclee, but it's spelled Giclee, and it's just a fancy name for ink print. And, but it's archival, and it's going to last you 200 to 500 years.
Well, there you go.
Supposedly. We haven't seen the ink last that long. But yeah, so it's the Giclee print.
Of Children of the Heavenly Father.
Yes, that hymn is good.
It is a good hymn.
It's a good hymn. Tell us more about the image itself, the art.
Sure. So the person that modeled as Jesus was a worker at a local hardware store, very kind man. He had this very gentle presence to him, and Cheryl thought, we'll do that. And then we took Pastor Preuss, who was serving as one of the pastors down there. We asked him very nicely if we could borrow his robe for church, and he said yes. Then I had to go down with a friend to the, we had to find an art supply store because you couldn't ship anything out there or else they would think that you were like bringing things out there to sell. So that was illegal, and then they would have confiscated it. So I had to buy all my art materials down there. So that was an exercise in trusting God's provision. And so we were at the store and had to ask for, what was funny is we had to ask for glitter paint because I really wanted to do glitter. Because
Every
the
painting needs
Dominicans,
glitter.
yes, because I was like, okay, you know, this is the Dominican Republic. Do we want to do gold leaf or be more culturally, you know, use things that the culture would enjoy? And so the colors I used were more saturated than what I typically use when I'm here because they love bright colors. And I was like, should I do glitter? And Cheryl said, absolutely. Dominican people love glitter. So that was a trip to get that. And then we, I think we did this in the chapel and the teachers got together a bunch of students. And I said, sure, bring however many you want. And I think there's like 25 people in that painting. So it ended up being a lot more work than I had anticipated. And, but I did it wanting the students to be dressed as they were, as students of the school. And I considered, you know, do I give them their baptismal robes? And that just didn't look right. They blended with Jesus too much, but it was neat painting each of the faces and the details on the clothing. And the little girls have all these fun little hair clips and like little hearts and jewelry. So it was really neat to, you know, bring in the fact that Christ welcomes all his children, you know, to his family. But the idea of Christ kind of taking us as we are and, you know, making it very personal, which I think was really special. And
Yeah.
Sarah's enamored with the picture.
I know. I'm
so
just
she's-
studying it right now. The colors are so beautiful. And you mentioned using more saturated colors in this. I see that now. Now that you mention it, I see that in this. Where is the original of this print?
It's in the Mercy Center. I think it's in one of the meeting rooms where the seminarians are at. We were looking into like possibly doing more paintings there, but you know, funding is always an interesting thing to deal with. But yeah, that's where it's at, and people can go. And they actually found a really great frame for it. So yeah,
Framing makes a difference.
it really does. It really does. So, but yeah, it's there. And so, you know, the next time you're out in the Dominican Republic, you can go and see it.
Sure. Yeah. What does a painting like this mean for people when it's such a personal thing, and people can see themselves in this painting? What does that mean to be able to actually go see it in the Mercy Center?
Oh my gosh. Well, I mean, it's interesting because, let's see. I mean, there's a ceramic mural I did at Lutheran South when I was in high school, and I mean, we did it. Well, oh my gosh, that must have been 15 years ago now. Wow. Okay. But what's interesting is our whole class did this mural. And it's interesting, you know, whenever I'm there, I kind of look at it and I go, oh no, you know, by myself. But then it's like, no, Kelly, like, don't judge yourself too harshly. Like, don't judge your work too harshly. But it's the idea that art kind of is a moment in time with these certain people that's translated forward through time. And it's, you know, you've changed, but you're the same person, but that artwork essentially hasn't changed. And I think that in the future, I mean, I might not ever see that painting again, and that's okay. But what I think will be interesting is over time, maybe as the model ages and changes, you know, and grows in his faith, or maybe as these students grow up, that they can come back and remember that experience and they can be reminded and, you know, maybe have being silly, have a reunion someday and look back and say, wow, you know, we were a part of that and be able to tell other people about that. And then to a degree too, I think that even though these people do have specific identities, I think that a lot of times, you know, even though you might not know any of them personally, you might be able to identify with one of them. So, that's why whenever I make paintings, I always use real people, not people out of my head. But I try to make it, you know, capture the little quirks or the little special things that make each person themselves, you know, which is kind of how God made us. You know, even though we're sinners, we still are fearfully and wonderfully made. So,
and because this painting is important as a part of your trip there, it's important to the people that you got to meet and serve while you were there. And so you're doing something special with this. I'm giclee.
Yeah, giclee. Oh, yeah, or painting. Either one. Yeah.
You're doing something special with this when friends go to your site and buy their own print of this. Then you're doing something special. Tell us about that.
Right. I think what I'm hoping I get this right.
Here, let me give this to you.
Thank you. So I can read it, Well, I mean, I usually get it right, but you never know. So, okay, just checking. Okay, it was easy to remember. It was a buy one, give one missionary project. So here's the thing is the missionaries obviously have limited funds. And so for them to pay for each giclee, for them to pay for each one, that's just a little, that can be a lot of money at the end of the day. And, a lot of them are living on donations and support. So what my mom and I had this idea to do is if people here buy one, then one is sent over to the missionaries. And so that they can hang it in their home or put it in their church or give it to someone. So it's kind of a buy one, get one. And this painting isn't just for the Dominican Republic. It's meant to represent, if any of you look closely, you can see that the skin colors on the students are a variety of colors. So it's also meant to speak to the whole Latin American region, if necessary, to include everybody there. So it's meant to be sent out to all those missions, not just the Dominican Republic mission.
So if you go to onustayarts.com and buy Children of the Heavenly Father, then a print will also be sent to our missionary friends in Latin America to use in their schools and their churches and homes and in their service to the people they're serving there as well. Outstanding, fantastic. And we'll share what Sarah's been snapping some pictures to
There's
put
pictures on our Instagram
on
right now.
Instagram at KFUO Radio, so you can see some of the pictures of Children of the Heavenly Father, or go to onustayart.com. You can see it there as well. Thank you so much, Kelly Schumacher, for your great work and for coming and sharing it with us here on the Coffee Hour.
Thank you so much, Andy and Sarah.
Advent is right around the corner. You're listening to the Coffee Hour. I'm Andy Bates.
I'm Sarah Gulseth.